Hi everyone, welcome to Read, Write, Create. I'm Katja and this is my first ever original tag, the Discworld Book tag. For all the prompts, I don't say novel but instead use the word story so that answers could cover a range of formats: novel, film, TV series, theatre production, etc. On to the prompts. Number 1. The Witches. What is your favourite story where the so-called odd folk are far kinder than normal folk? For me, it has to be The Shape of Water by Del Toro. I first saw the movie and then read the book, and this has more details around the background for the water creature and coming from the Amazon. But I did think that the film adaptation did a wonderful job of creating these relationships between all of the different characters. The interactions were brilliant. So the inner sleeve says, now a major feature film from Fox Searchlight Pictures. It is 1962 and Elisa Esposito, mute her whole life, orphaned as a child, is struggling with a humdrum existence as a janitor working the graveyard shift at Baltimore's Oakham Aerospace Research Center. Were it not for Zelda, a protective co-worker, and Giles, her loving neighbor, she doesn't know how she'd make it through the day. Then, one fateful night, she sees something she was never meant to see. The center's most sensitive asset ever, an amphibious man, captured in the Amazon to be studied for Cold War advancements. The creature is terrifying but also magnificent, capable of language and of understanding emotions, and Alyssa can't keep away. Using sign language, the two learn to communicate. Prompt number 2, The City Witch. Your favourite police procedural or sleuthing story where the hero or heroes create nearly as much drama as the villains. Now for me, the answer is Phryne Fisher, and Rosie will probably shake a fist at me because I know she likes this character too. Phryne Fisher is the main character in Australian author Kerry Greenwood's series of Phryne Fisher detective stories. I've actually only read the first of her novels, and the rest of my love for the character comes from the TV screen adaptation Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. Phryne is an aristocrat. She is fabulously wealthy, and she is an eccentric private detective who lives in St Kilda, Melbourne. The first 15 novels are said to be set in the year 1928. With assistance of her companion Dot and 2 red raggers, which apparently was Australian slang of the period meaning communists, she solves all manner of crimes. Now Phryne is no ordinary aristocrat. She stirs up trouble wherever she is, but only with the best intentions. Her bohemian lifestyle is rounded off with a style uniquely hers. Honourable mention goes to a 2014 K-drama that I watched this year called You're All Surrounded. Fantastic police procedural. Prompt number 3. Death. What is your favourite story that moves away from painting death as life's ultimate villain? For me, this would be any of the death-themed Discworld novels like Mort, Reaper Man, Soul Music, Hogfather, Thief of Time. In these books, death is always misunderstood and his best intentions have the oddest outcomes. I also have high hopes for If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura, which I'll be reading in December. This is my December book club book on the Discord server. If you're interested in reading along with me, do join me there. Or alternatively, you can still read along with me without joining the server, and you can post your comments when I post the book review at the end of December. So this is the cover, and I thought it's absolutely lovely. I'm not sure it's going to be picked up, but there is a bit of reflective gold in the cat's eyes there. Prompt number 4. Moist von Lipwig. What is your favourite story featuring the ultimate anti-hero? Now, aside from the Moist von Lipwig books, and especially Going Postal, for which I'm hosting a read-along together with Rosie Cockshut, Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, and Zena at Beating Around the Books this November 12th is when we kick off, I'd have to say that Hester Shaw from the Mortal Engines books by Philip Reeve is a fabulous anti-hero. She doesn't start out having a noble cause unless you consider revenge one, and the chip on her shoulder means she justifies being really abrasive to others. However, it can be argued that while she wishes she were cold and heartless, it's her internal struggle of trying to turn off her empathy entirely, and that she can't do that, which leads to her frustrations and her explosive temper. Number 5, Rincewind or the Wizards. What is your favourite story featuring an eccentric academic or academic institutions? I was tempted to go with Unseen Academicals, the 37th Discworld novel, because we have the librarian in golds for the football/soccer. The tag lends itself to all genres of books, and I decided that actually I'll go with my favourite book for this year, which is The Housekeeper and the Professor, because the professor is eccentric in some ways. There are some underlying issues as to why he's that way, but I did think this was a fabulous novel about an eccentric academic and found family trope. There are several elements that make the story so special, and I'll add a link and a card to my review. Prompt number 6, Tiffany Aching and the Knack-Mack FEEGLES. What is your favourite coming-of-age story? For me, that is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I've seen some articles that haven't been complimentary about the author at all, but Ender's Game is a novel that got me into science fiction. The novel tells the story of a young boy, Ender Wiggin, who is sent to a training academy named Battle School, located in orbit above the Earth, and built to train people to become soldiers that will one day battle against a vast alien race. When I say people, I actually mean middle graders. It was fascinating to me at the time to read about how Ender had to reconcile his feelings and logic throughout the book. Prompt number 7, Discworld. Discworld is a flat planet balanced on the backs of 4 elephants standing on the back of a giant turtle. What story has some of the best world-building elements you can think of? There are so many stories I can think of for this one, including Stardust by Neil Gaiman, but I think I'm going to go for a novel that isn't mentioned very often, or at least I haven't seen mentioned very often on BookTube, and that is The Paper Magician by Charlie N. Holmberg. Now, in this Victorian era, or alternative Victorian era, we've got magicians who are bound to a particular element, and we start off with a reluctant paper magician who had been hoping to be bound to an element other than what she has. And paper isn't very often an element that comes up for people who are training. It's not something that is particularly stylish at the time, and people are clamoring to get into being bound to being paper magicians. And I would say that if you're a fan of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, then you're likely to enjoy this one. Before I go on to the next prompt, fun fact, Going Postal doesn't have a chapter 8, and instead has the chapter between 7 and 9 titled as Chapter 7A. So, 7A, tag people. 1. Rosie Cockshut. 2. Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. 3. Sina at Beating Around the Books. 4. Graham at The Archive. 5. Brandon's Bookshelf. 6. Hugo at Scientist Reading World. 7. C. Kevy. And 7A, Pay at Attention. If you do the tag and would like me to add your video to the tag playlist, let me know in the comments when you posted your video and I'll do just that. So if you haven't been tagged, please still go ahead and do the tag if you fancy. Thanks so much for watching and take care. Bye!